In the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, I think I'm going to walk around like a talk show host and engage people at their individual tables. It is a great honor for me and a great privilege to be here speaking to this group. As Abdulaziz mentioned, I converted to Islam about 18 years ago, which, if you're counting, means I converted when I was 2. No, I'm just kidding. But I did convert to Islam while in high school some time ago. And since converting, I have been trying to achieve a sustainable level of practice as a Muslim. And it's an ongoing struggle. It's something that is not, Islam is something that we're continually seeking to do. I like to think of it as a verb, because we know it means to submit to God or to attain ultimate peace. And it's something that we're always in the process of doing. It is not a noun, something done, mastered, and then we cease to focus on it. Now, the other reason that it is an extreme honor and an extreme privilege to be with all of you all this morning is because I deem this gathering a miraculous gathering. I remember I was sitting and I was studying theology with the teacher, and we came to the topic of prophethood. We were talking about prophets, upon them be peace. And as the Jewish tradition esteems and believes in prophets, and the Christian tradition esteems and believes in prophets, the Muslim tradition also esteems and believes in prophets. And a lot of the prophets that we believe in, we actually have, almost all of them in fact, we actually have in common. It is not uncommon to find Muslims referencing the great prophets of the scripture. Noah, and Abraham, and Moses, and Elijah, and Jesus, etc., etc. And me and my teacher began to discuss what in fact makes a prophet a prophet. And we, looking at a book of classical Islamic theology, determined that it was receiving revelation, or what we call in Arabic wahi, and then being aided, usually by miracles. Mu'ayyad bin mu'jizat. Sahib al-wahi wa mu'ayyad bin mu'jizat. Someone that receives revelation and is aided by miracles. And by miracles, we mean somebody that can do something that falls outside of the natural occurrence of human events. My brother, what is if I ask you, what is a miracle? What's a miracle? I'm gonna give you the mic. So I'll put people on the spot. What is a miracle?
Not really sure.
Okay.
I guess something that would be considered miraculous.
Something that would be considered miraculous. If you ever want to run for political office, you definitely have a skill at taking the... Well, Jackie, what is a miracle? What's a miracle?
Something outside the norm, something that's extraordinary, something that you don't see every day, something unique, something that's, like I said, outside the norm. You ain't gonna see it every day.
Absolutely. A miracle is something outside the norm. It's something you're not going to see every day. So when we read about Jesus, peace be upon him, raising Lazarus from the dead, this is a miracle. When we read about Moses parting the Red Sea, this is a miracle. When we read about Noah and his followers surviving the flood by boarding the ark, this is a miracle. When we read about Muhammad, peace be upon all of them, receiving the Quran, this is a miracle. So there was one sister who was also studying with us. And she raised her hand as we were talking about khalqul aada, or breaking the natural chain of events. And she said, and look, guys, pay attention to this part, because this is where the story gets good. You don't want to miss this part. This is where the story gets good. She said, I'm Muslim now, but I used to be a witch. I'm not kidding. And she said that I once attended a conference of witches and warlocks. A warlock is the male equivalent of witch. In Geneva, Switzerland. And she said that the highest ranking member of our assembly, when he wanted to change positions in the room, he would just float from one place. He would levitate from one place to another place. And you are thinking the same thing that I was thinking. You need to check the expiration date on your guacamole. You see? And then she said, I have never used hallucinogenic drugs. I have never experimented with, I don't have a history of mental illness. This is something that I saw with my own eyes. Now, Sheikh, she's addressing the teacher. How do you explain that? If you're saying the prophets can do this, and it's miraculous, I saw people who profess to believe in the dark arts, and they can do things that were also miraculous. And the sheikh, the teacher, he looked at that woman, and he said to her, if you go out to O'Hare Airfield, you'll see people flying around all over the place. That is really not that miraculous to me. But that God would guide a person and change their state from one of disobedience to Him to obedience to Him, that is the real miracle. That's the real, that people can float and walk on water. It certainly has its place in proving the power of God. But the real power of God is shown in people like these people assembled here for breakfast. Many of us going down a particular path of life without guidance, without knowledge of the higher things that God chose to guide and show His light to. And that is miraculous. And that is not something that can be overstated. The third thing that I want to talk about is that when people convert to Islam, they are in need of support. See, I converted in the 90s. And one of the miscalculations that we made as a community was that we assumed that converting to Islam automatically entailed this decisive break with everything you used to be, even a connection with your family. I remember, and I'm not making this up, somebody that was there when I converted is here, but I'm not giving any hints. I'm not giving any indications of who I'm referring to. Now, he didn't tell me this, but I remember people saying to me, you know, and I don't want anyone to be scared, because we're in the process now of correcting this misinformation. But I remember a brother saying to me, as I was telling him how much I loved my mother, and Mujahid knows how much I love my mother, and my mother actually encouraged my spiritual exploration. When I told my mother I'm interested in Islam, she said, son, that's good. You should read, you should study. You should seek the company of Muslims. So I was telling somebody how much I love my mother and how supportive she was of my decision to embrace Islam. And he said to me, you know, I've been reading about al-wala wal-bara. I've been reading about allegiance and being disconnected from different kinds of people, and you technically cannot love your mother. And I said, what? You technically cannot love your mother. And I said, run that by me one more time. As a Muslim, you cannot love your mother. Now I think about what that did to me in that moment. I almost said, well, I don't know if this religion is for me. If you're telling me the person that was the most instrumental in my embracing this religion is not somebody worthy of my love, my consideration, and my support, then maybe this is not the right thing for me. But now we're getting to a place that we recognize the ignorance in that teaching. We recognize the destructiveness of that teaching. And we've changed almost full scale. Because we know that even though we embrace Islam, we are still very much in need of the love of our parents and our siblings and our extended family and all of those networks. I remember a brother. My mother had a little dog once upon a time. And she asked me to take her dog for a walk. Now, traditionally, Muslims don't domesticate dogs as pets. And a friend of mine saw me walking my mother's dog. And he said, Ya Shaykh. Oh, you know, he called me by like a name that you would give to a religious teacher. You're walking a dog? And I said to him in Arabic, Khidmatul muqaddam ala karahiyat al-kilab. Serving the mother takes precedent over disliking or not domesticating dogs. This is my mother's dog. And he said to me, oh, of course, mashallah. You see, because we're coming into a greater understanding of what we're going to need to continue to practice Islam. And it's not the kind of Islam that seeks to separate people from their families, from their origins, from their cultures, from their personalities, from their likes, from their dislikes. But rather it is an Islam that seeks to refine for people their relationships with their families, with their siblings, with their likes and dislikes, with their habits. So what people here are trying to do is to create a support network for Muslims and the families of new Muslims. There's a group named Ta'leef, and it comes from the word Ta'leef, to reconcile hearts, to join hearts. And they have this practice of making an event out of a person's embrace of Islam. They make an event out of it. A person embraces Islam and they make sure that their mother is there and their father is there and their friends are there. And I've seen the great integration that this has produced. That people convert to Islam and it's not like, oh, now I have to become an alien unto myself. You know, everything that I used to do, you know, we even now have to speak English with an Arab accent after embracing Islam. We've seen people doing this because everything that makes me is somehow wrong. And as a community, we have to assume some responsibility for allowing this sentiment, for allowing this attitude to get out there. And we have to bind those wounds. And we have to start teaching Islam in a way that gives people the ability to convert to Islam and then attain a healthy, sustainable practice of Islam. I remember a story, and this is a story that occurs in the Hadith literature, the traditions of the Prophet Muhammad, may God bless him and grant him peace, in which he was sitting with a close companion of his, Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu. Umar, the son of Khattab, may God be pleased with him. Even the way that many of us, we speak Arabic and English together without even translating. It's something that I find myself doing. A convert Muslim came to me and said, I thought Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the Prophet's last name. They said that to me. He said, because so many people said the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that I thought Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the Prophet's last name. Because we don't even take the care to just translate terms. This is all stuff that you're supposed to know. I remember, this is a funny story, hanging out with this gentleman here. I'm putting you on the spot today, huh? I got to do it. I have to do it. And I think we were hanging out, and somebody sneezed. And I said, God bless you. Because that's how I was raised. And they said, well, now Muslims, we don't say God bless you. The person that sneezes says, Alhamdulillah. And then the other person says, Yarhamakullah. And then the person that sneezes says, Yahdikumullah wa yuslih balakum. I said, Islam is too hard, man. That's too much for me, man. I got to learn all that just to sneeze. There's a way that we were taught Islam. But the Prophet, peace be upon him, was sitting with Sayyidina Umar, our leader Umar. And he said to Umar, لا يؤمن أحدكم كاملا, يعني parenthetically, حتى أكون أحب إليه من ماله وأبنائه وزوجته والناس جميعا ونفسه. How can I call Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that none of you believes completely until I, Prophet speaking, until I have become more beloved unto him or her than their money, than their spouse, than their children, than all of the people, and even their own self. None of you believes completely until I am more beloved to him or her than everything else, and even their own self. And what was interesting about this is that the Prophet, peace be upon him, was known as a man of complete humility. So as soon as he said this, Sayyidina Umar, our leader Umar, knew he was not saying this out of boasting. He wasn't saying this, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was a man of complete and utter humility. They say that when he came to a gathering, he did not have a designated place in the gathering. He just sat wherever was open. So I always joke with the imams. He didn't have a parking spot that said reserved for the imam.
Okay.
No, just kidding. We need, the imam has to be able to get into the khutbah. We need that. But the Prophet would not say this to Umar in a self-aggrandizing way. You have to love me. Because he was telling this to Umar because this was important for a person of faith to know. If you want your faith to be kamil, if you want your faith to be perfect, come on. You have to love me. Right? You have to love me. Well, I see myself as very much a member of this group, just someone else that was blessed to convert to this religion. And we're trying to just, يَشُدُّ بَعْضُهُ بَعْضًا. We hold each other up. We support each other. That's what the movement, that's what they do. They support each other. We hold each other up. We don't tear each other down. So let us continue to do that. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.